doing? It's Dr. Gregory Clarke Sr., and it's been approximately 2 weeks since I've been physically home. So it's great to be back. I hope everyone had an excellent Thanksgiving. And I know so far as we're going to have a conversation, a little teaching tonight. I'm going to keep it light banter as, we're going to be sharing areas and possibilities of what we're thankful for. And I know so far some of the individuals who have joined us on tonight's edition of the Comeback Conversations with Dr. Clarke were also on the cruise ship that we was able to move around and navigate upon. So it would be great to hear some of their respective perspectives of how not only the cruise went, how the interactions went, how we all were able to fellowship over the Thanksgiving holiday. So it's a major blessing. Of course, there's things that's happening in the news cycle that we might get into lightly, but really it's about just communion. And as we start preparing for the calendar year 2026, how we can navigate and effectively grow. So it's never always about the numbers. It's about the insight and the community and the camaraderie. So without further ado, let me start with Mr. William Richards from the great island of St. Martin, and who is also on the cruise ship with us. And so this is a great opportunity to just hear some thoughts. How's everything as you've made it back home safely and all that good stuff? What's going on with you, Mr. William Richards?
Yeah, just giving God thanks, for, making the first cruise ever,
Mm,
made it possible, with all your expectations, it's been fulfilled. Because,
excellent.
'cause you really want to meet the brethren because you have to fellowship with the brethren, that's for sure, how good and how
Mm.
pleasant it is, for brethren to dwell together in unity. And seeing you up close is a difference than when you just no, it makes a difference because when you're
Mhm.
seeing somebody, it's you're seeing them on a picture. A picture speaks 1,000 words,
Mhm.
but when you see it in reality, it's like flesh to flesh. It's like bones to bones. You come more in reality of communing with with each other and fellowshipping with others because you meet a lot of other different people on the ships that you normally don't see, and you would like to know exactly who they are. Then you just making sure you commune with them, have a conversation because it's the language is the language is how to put it, is the house of being.
Mm.
Language is the house of being. So you have to have a language. You could communicate whatever language it is. It doesn't matter. It's the communication and fellowship. It brings unity within you know a family, a ministry, whatever you want to put it. But all is family in the end. Like the Pittsburgh Pirates said, we are family.
Mm.
So that's how it is. And
Excellent.
yourself, it was a joy meeting you and your wife,
Yes, it was excellent.
the young couple moving around. Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
we
like to
were
send
moving
praise.
around that ship. We definitely were moving around that
It's a
ship.
joy because the first ship is the Utopia of the Seas, and
Mhm.
it was like you even don't even know you was on the ship. You don't even know when the ship taken off
Mm.
until maybe sometime you hear something in the morning. That's a different
Mhm.
story. But the crew members, and then the fellowshipping with even with the people that serves because I like to see a joyful face when people serving me.
Mhm.
Because and then you express yourself among them because if you want to get friends, you have to show yourself friendly. So
Exactly.
and really, I met the chef of the Windjammer. He's a Jamaican, you know.
Mm.
So Caribbean dishes and
Oh
Caribbean,
yeah, those Korea. Yeah.
those remedies flying out, from your mother's how your mother cook,
Hmm.
how our mothers cooks and thing. In the Caribbean is different than when you taste the food of others that they don't have the art of it. But he was like from 10 years old, but he
Mm.
was start cooking, and he
So
was
it was
all over.
authentic.
Yeah,
Authentic.
authentic. Yeah, he has that demeanor with him. that it's like excellence is his motto, his mantra.
Mm.
He doesn't like say let anything slip. But if you have something you could share with him, he always open for correction, open for insights, and then open also, like say for instance, to have a conversation even with the people that are participating as you're not at the table. You're at the table, but you're not on the menu.
Mm.
So that part, he also impart onto us, and we can be able to share with him and he with us. So it makes a big sense. I'd like to see a cook smiling, because when a cook smiling, he loves what he's doing, and
Mm.
he's a humble guy. I think Andre. I think Whitney Mills, that's his name.
Mm-hmm.
But he like I said, he's down to earth. And then the different serving, like servings of delicacies. It's like that has to do with it, because you can't leave food out without dessert or whatever it is. You have to have that included with it, and also the participants, because I love, let's say, the omelette with say for instance with the mushrooms, the spinach. It's a difference that you're building your body, you're building your system when you eat those mushrooms
Mm-hmm.
and the spinach together, because you're making sure that your body runs in accordance to the axles that you're on, so you don't break down.
Mm.
But it's a
This,
joy, like again, in Master Prophet. Master Prophet will always be Master Prophet and Pastor Deborah, and then the team, because every good ministry is based on the team, that the input of the team that is coming forward, because two people can't do it alone, because Jesus didn't have he didn't do it alone. He had 12 disciples.
mm-hmm.
So all of those things, you look back and you collaborate with all of those things and put them together and see the teamwork, right? And the input separation of the people that have the assignment, when they have an assignment to execute, and how they execute. You see Prophet, I say Prophet Jean Lloyd, Coach Jean Lloyd,
Mm-hmm.
and the things that you learn from her and you glean from her. And also, with the master prophet talking about forgiveness. And then Jean Lloyd, it's like when something happened from yesterday, it's just a past, it's a story. The future is also a story, but the present is what we are in. And that's the present what we have to deal with. So it's always a joy, like I said, meeting you. Yeah. From the
No,
man cave,
pleasure,
so it's like it's different.
pleasure's ours.
Yeah,
Pleasure's
it's a
ours.
difference. It's a really different, because after a long while, the connection is normally that makes a difference, and with your wife also, because a man can do be alone. Yeah, it's not good for a man to be alone. So, and I
I'm a
tell
lucky
people I'm
person.
never alone. I said the Lord's my shepherd, so I shall not want.
Excellent, excellent.
Thank
And
you, Dr. Clark, for all the input that you've given onto me. I'm grateful and thankful.
you're very welcome. You're
Really,
very
really.
welcome. Very welcome. Now we're going to go to Mr. Franklin, who was going to be on the ship with us, but life happens, and that's I know he's going to make him and his wife is going to do their best to be with us on the next one. But I would definitely love to hear, not only what he's thankful for 2025, but just to, for him to express, how his holiday season is going so far. So without further ado, Mr. Franklin, out of the great state of Florida, where we spent some time in before we went on a cruise ship. And Mr. Franklin, the floor is yours, so we can, you can articulate some of your thoughts about, what you're thankful for, how blessed you are. Share with the people. Share with the people.
First, first of all,
Come on. First of all, I
I'm,
know I'm the first of
I'm
all.
thankful you all, but I'm really thankful for this roof over my head and I'm thankful for my wife as well. That's That's really, really what I'm thankful of and grateful to.
That's good. That's good. So you're thankful for your wife, Dr. Dawnetta, as we refer to her now, as she's earned her doctorate degree. And to see y'all moving in this elevated space of seeing how, the universe is moving positively as you start to, something that Mr. Richards just said that was shared on the cruise ship, is that sometimes we can be caught up in the past, which is a story, and the future is an unfolding one. But the only thing that you have power over is the present. And when you're willing to move powerfully in your present, to stay in that realm, everything happens from that realm. And there's so many times that, as we're seeing, like some of the news cycles and some of the things, not only from a country-based standpoint, but sometimes even some of the geopolitical stuff that's happening, with some of the conflicts and things that nature, or things that's supposed to be moving towards some level of completion or peace accords and things of that nature. We're starting to see at times people could be so focused on the past, also so focused on the future, that they're neglecting the present. So when we hear people sometimes attempt to throw each other under the bus regardless of its political ideology, sometimes it could be based on religion, it could be based on ethnicity, all these areas where it doesn't create a space of thankfulness. But when we get back to the essence of being present, when we get back to the essence of being, and that being is about recognizing yourself. See, if you don't recognize yourself, you cannot recognize anyone outside of you. And as we starting to recognize, as we're moving closer and closer to 2026, I think I'm very, not melancholy, but I'm very thankful. I'm very aware. I'm very in the space of understanding, because I know we had a dear friend of ours who recently transitioned. And when you think about, what life is all about, sometimes, well, not sometimes, I know it's not about the things or the trappings or what you so much acquire, which is all good, not making none of that wrong. But if you're able to have those possibilities and opportunities that we're responsible to be in the present, to be with each other, to be acknowledgeable, to be in those spaces of relevance, that's where true thankfulness starts to come into play, and you don't take things for granted. So the unfolding future is ever present. Like tomorrow's, we usually tape on Tuesday, so that means on a Wednesday is the unfolding future. We don't necessarily know what's going to happen tomorrow on a Wednesday. And that right now is an unfolding story. It's a story that has not yet written and passed. Even what even happened earlier today, like up here in the New York City area, the New York State area, we had some snow. In the city, they had mainly rain. They were lucky enough to have just only rain. But up here, where I live at, we got a snow event. It looks like a winter wonderland up here. And, even though it happened earlier, even though it still happened today, if I kept talking about it and referring about it, like, all this snow and all this snow, it's not a story. The snow already fell. Now, what you going to do with it? If you're prepared correctly, the snow wasn't a problem. It's just part of the seasons of life that we all go through. We all have an autumn, we all have a spring, we all have a summer, and we definitely all have a winter. So if we are moving in those eloquent and relevant spaces where we become more established, and we start to understand that the type of stories that we speak about starts with the stories that we speak to ourselves about. And like as we get into tonight's PowerPoint presentation, we're starting to, unfold that thing. It's ever unfolding, regardless of whatever it is that we're doing. There's so many things going on in this country, which, I can't wait for 2025 to be complete. Because 2025 was definitely a metamorphosis year. For those of you who may know about certain numbers, this was a 9 year. And I can just see how there were so many respective movements and things that just entailed themselves that you just sometimes you're shaking your head more than once a day. But I'm thankful that so far that as we've made it here to the beginning of December, which means we're at almost towards the 12th completion of the 12th month of this calendar year, that we've had the opportunity to move powerfully through it. So next up, I see that Mr. Everett Guthrie from the great state of Florida is in the building. Why don't you share some of the things we're sharing, the things that we're thankful for, those things that we're recognizing as we can start to assess most part of our 2025. So, Mr. Guthrie, the floor is yours. And after Mr. Guthrie, we'll go to Mr. Davis, who I see is in the building, Mr. Indiana Pace in effect, and then we'll continue on. So, Mr. Guthrie, the floor is yours. What are you thankful for as 2025 has been transpiring?
This year I've always valued health, but this year more than ever in life, I value the gift of health and the reality that health is our greatest wealth. I value the gift of life and the gift of joy and peace and the power of protecting all of the above. But this year has made health become prioritized in a way that I've never experienced before. And fortunately, I have to say fortunately for me, instead of unfortunately, fortunately for me, I got significantly ill for the first time in life, and I was confronted with the challenge and the blessing of committing to preserving health and wellness. So I'm thankful for that.
Excellent. Appreciate that sharing that. Yeah, without your health, you can be like close to like Elon Musk, who's considered right at this moment the world's richest person. But if your health is not there, you give up all that wealth to have health. So that is very great. And I love the fact of hearing him state how he's more present about it. Because sometimes we can talk about that just going to the gym or working out or eating the right foods. That's all great. But that the true healthiness starts from what is it that you're generating from your inner self, your inner man, that invocation or evocation that you're doing. What are you evoking? And sometimes we can think that, because I eat right, that means people like me. No. Do you have a bad attitude? You're still not living right. Are you treating people incorrectly? You're still not living right. Oh, don't you see me? I'm skinny, or I'm healthy, or I'm strong, or I'm big. No. Something that Maya Angelou said, people will not remember your name. People will forget what you look like. But most people, they hear something that sparks that memory, will never forget the way you make them feel. And that's one of the things that I've learned, even in the course of this 2025, is about, you don't have to be an emotional person, but when you just recognize that you desire to respect not only your own feelings, but the feelings of others, then you start to recognize, even if you have to be stern, you're still being stern out of love. Because as we've learned, most of us who've been able to peruse certain good books, the Lord chastises those that he loves. And so even in your chastisement, or even when you're correcting someone, you still can correct them in a way that still empowers them. Because we all need to get corrected. We're going to get corrected to the day that we lie. There's always going to be some realm of correction. And wise individuals recognize that correction is not a bad thing. So when you see people, certain individuals around you are running away from correction, you can understand. And then if they kind of notice that their life is not necessarily the way that they would like it, or they may end up in certain circumstances, goes back to, did you allow yourself to be corrected? Or do you feel that you're always the smartest person in the room? Next up, we're going to go to our young man from Indiana who sent all this wonderful snow our way, because I know they experienced it first. Then all of a sudden they decide to share. I don't know why they decide to share this, but we're going to be very happy and be responsible and still be thankful. I know he has a lot to share because I know there's been a lot of stuff that's happened for him in 2025. So, Mr. Davis, the floor is yours. What are you thankful for, especially during
Wow.
the calendar year of 2025?
Thank you. Thank you. I have not seen the snow, and I am sitting in a lot of snow right now. I had to move part of my garage around so my wife could get her car in.
Mm,
So there goes some of my workspace I had, I guess.
mm,
But I am thankful for family. Family is very important for 2025, and
excellent.
me and my family went through a lot. But God makes a way, you know, out of everything. He makes a way. Yeah, I'm I'm impressed. That's a good word for it. I am impressed what God has done and continue doing. So it's just one of those things that I'm grateful and I'm really blessed to be here. I'm blessed to see everybody here. I'm blessed that my family is here intact. And I'm blessed to know that 2026 is going to be a great year. That's it.
Excellent, excellent. I like that. I like that. I like that. That's wonderful. Perspective and still the ability to see things as they can be. And that's part of the thing that starts with how you invoke or evoke. You can project out possibility. You can project out those things that you desire to happen around you. Not that you're waiting for someone to do it or this one had to do it. That's no, no, no. You're doing it, but you're setting the atmosphere. And as you allow you to set your atmosphere, you're recognizing the space of your being. And when you can just sometimes breathe in and breathe out, where there's plenty of days in 2025 that we had to do that, regardless of things that we may have experienced from family dynamic, things that we may have experienced by social media, things that we may have even seen in the news cycles, which just force you to go, and you have to let it go. Because if you hold it in, it's unhealthy. You hold it in without some level of articulation, that means you're just absorbing everything around you and not allowing yourself to be aware, to be flexible in it all. Because it's not about staying up and it's not about falling down, but it's recognizing just to be in the beat of the matter. So I thank you for that, Mr. Davis. And without further ado, it is my excellent pleasure to bring to the stage because I know she has a lot to be thankful for. I mean, from already having a great movement with Speak Your Power Now as she empowers women across the country to now expanding that into the Girl You Cute movement, where now it's moving into the spaces of curricula and curriculums and starting to be in those respective conversations, talking about getting into schools now. Who would have thought that at one point in the year, this book wasn't even in existence? But now, as we come to the close, 2025, I can humbly and proudly say that I'm very proud of my wife, proud of, her quirky ideas at times, or those times where she's always, looking for the next thing to do. Feels like I'm Pinky hanging out with the brain, but she's always attempting to take over the world, which is a good thing. And I got a little bit of that of me in as well. But to see the progress and see, as I've always said, you have to be diligently consistent in order to see anything that you may have a great idea about come to fruition. And one thing I have to give her the ultimate credit about is that, she's taking what could have been lemons and made a lot of lemonade. So without further ado, we're going to open up the floor for Dr. Cheryl Clarke, just to share about, how her 2025 is and, how she's navigated and being thankful and, just hear her insight, hear her share her thoughts about thankfulness, especially in the season as we're moving towards the close of 2025. So without further ado, Dr. Cheryl Clarke, you have the floor.
Well, I am thankful for you. always being in the corner of my quirky ideas that kind of magically touch and be turn into gold, the magic dust. So yeah, I'm grateful and thankful because it's I hear a lot of horror stories about how you're not supported by your spouse and things of that nature. So I am grateful for that. I'm grateful for my health. Um, I'm grateful for, you know, my for my mother, her
Mm,
health, my children. I'm grateful for life. As we go through this area of life, as we are grateful for this life, I can just see and understand that the possibilities are here. And I'm grateful for understanding that there are possibilities in life. So, and I'm thankful for wisdom
mm,
and thankful for knowing that there is a God.
mm,
And without God, I am nothing.
mm,
And me, and the realization of that is understanding at the center that without God, we are nothing. So that's what I am grateful and thankful for in this season and this lifetime, for the tears and for the connections that we've made. And I'm complete.
excellent, excellent, excellent. And that was a powerful way to move into the teaching for today. Let us get this teaching on. Let's get our teaching on. Make sure we're sharing the sound. Dr. Cheryl, can you let me know? Can you see my screen?
I can.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So tonight's as because we're talking about thankfulness and how to be in spaces where we have to develop community. And tonight's teaching or tonight's share is based upon from net weaving to network. And as you can see, the image on this title page, as the hands and it's interwoven. And there are times that we don't understand or we may not be purposefully responsible to